The tale of Jenny and Screech was so freaking cool. We had to come back for more. So here we are with Ren and Chinchilla. Chalk Outlines live.
Live.
Excellent sound work, from the hearing of the pages to this growing ominous noise that you know something's coming.
Full white outfit, full black guitar. Interesting to see where this goes.
His setting work is so good.
Yes, it's like every single thing he does is deliberate. You know, from the moment he pops the chair, the way he does it, the way he sets it down, everything is so deliberate. It's really, I'm looking forward to this.
Well, yeah, and everything down to like the squeaking noise of the chair and the way it echoes down the hall. And him looking confused, trying to figure out what's going on. The light goes out, and he's exploring a scary place, and you can feel that with him. The screech of like the chair.
You said
opening.
screech.
I did. I said screech.
Nice.
The screech of the chair opening adds to that effect even more. Even though you see where the sound is coming from, unlike in like a horror flick, you wouldn't see where that's coming from. You see where it even though you see where it's coming from, it still has that effect.
Yeah.
I'm still here in this bed that I crawled in. I hope that I'm someone else in the morning. So take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine. Then walk around in the floating chalk outline. So it goes, let it be. In the gallows, balanced on my toes so I can breathe. But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself.
Okay, there are several things I love about this. The lyrics are cool. The echo is so impactful, where it's not digitally added. It's a physical echo. You can feel it in your soul.
Yeah.
And this entire thing is taken in one cut, and it makes it feel like you get to be a fly on the wall or a drone just going around, just experiencing this with him. It's not lots of cuts to keep your attention.
Right.
He's going to keep your attention on his own.
Right. Which he's doing. He's very much keeping my attention. And one of the things that I really like about his voice is his dynamics. So it's not just like da 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 da. It's like da 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 da. You know, and you're like you where it would feel even normal to have like a continued volume across there with maybe some like minor crescendo or decrescendo. He just drops these notes, and they just kind of like are just voiced. You know, like coming out, and you're like, okay, like, whew, like you. It feels very raw, very real.
Yes.
It gives a feeling of spoken emotion, but still coming out as a tune, which is really, really great. And having that acuity and awareness to do that is really fantastic.
one of my favorite moment I think so far is he starts the guitar, like he dips his toe in the water. He sings the first line and then stops again. Like he just kind of stuck his foot in the water, make sure it's okay. Nothing's happened. Okay, I'll let go and enjoy this a little bit, and starts playing a kind of upbeat song. It really is quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh mama, oh mama, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh mama, erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
That's such an interesting line. We trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Erase ourselves in these chalk outlines. You know, when he first talks about the chalk outline, because he says I'm walking around in this chalk outline, and of course the chalk outline is where they mark out a dead body in a crime scene.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like I'm like this walking dead. You know, like I'm alive and walking around, but I'm not alive. You know, or maybe there's like a sense of impending doom, right? But then when it's like where I trace myself in this outline, like I wear this persona, but then I lose myself in this persona, or this mental illness, or this concept, whatever this concept is, whatever this chalk outline represents. That line, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines, erase ourselves in these chalk outlines. That lyrical play there is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Like I will come to Ren to practice and study and just get lyrical inputs for myself so that I can like improve my own poetry, because he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
And I'm going to appreciate, again, the visuals, the placement of the camera. So the person carrying the camera probably has it on some sort of gimbal setup and is going around, and he's managing to ignore it enough that it still feels like very raw, as if you're just kind of a fly on the wall enjoying it, right? But then the camera places itself so that you can see in the corner, down a dark hall, there is something in the light. And it's like, I'm enjoying myself, but there is something ominous going on visually. And then the lights go out, and you hear that sound, and he stops, and it's just like chills. Like, oh, there is something lurking in the shadows. Always there. Be aware of it.
And for me, it's Chase. That's
Such relief and a sip of serotonin. Don't cry, 'cause there's a pill for everything.
that. You see what she said right there? That's what I'm talking about. He did the same thing with his dynamics. She's like, don't cry, 'cause there's a pill for everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like, ooh, ooh.
It gives it a very somber tone.
Yes.
Even with the upbeat background music, adds a very somber tone on top of it.
And it's not just poppy, right? Because you get some of that in like some pop music where they'll be kind of like, ha, ha, you know, and just like bouncing back and forth. But this is just like, it almost like it sucks your attention down into it, because it's just like, well, I'm thinking of like a Wing Chun drill we do where we're like punching. If I pull my hand out, sometimes I can distract somebody's fist to my hand, which isn't my goal. I'm just be like, look, you're not punching me, you're punching my hand, you know? But that's what this does here. It leads our mind in. It sucks us in when we have the tune, and we can get lost in a tune. But when you pull it away like that, it actually pulls you into it.
Yeah.
And you might even find yourself, when you listen or watch this, you may find yourself physically getting pulled into it. To feel and understand what that is. And that's a very beautiful vocal technique. And I'm loving how they're utilizing it here.
Take this
Also, big fingernails.
one, wash it down and you'll be fine.
What a note.
That was gorgeous.
And I love that this song, knowing Ren has gone through misdiagnoses and, oh, just take this pill, you'll be fine, it's made everything worse, makes these songs like impactful, knowing that he has been there and understands that maybe the pill isn't the answer to everything.
Right.
And having worked in the medical industry as long as I have, I know that they do go straight to the pills a lot faster than they need to.
Yeah. And I will say, again, back to the vocal technique, the slide from that note to the other one. I mean, she changed registers there as far as I could understand. Like, she went from that chest voice to the head voice, and it was smooth and it was nice, but it had an airy quality.
Yeah.
almost what you would call like a falsetto quality for a man, but it was like just this, but it was smooth at the same time and just really clear, no break there, just gorgeous.
Beautiful vocal work from Chinchilla so far.
The feeling goes and you draw a choke outline.
So it goes, let it be. In the gallows, I'm balanced on my toes so I can breathe.
I know like we're dropping right here to like hit something, you know, always pick the best places to pause it. But what really strikes me with Ren performances, but this one more than any other Ren performance that we've seen, is the feeling of being in a live performance. So if you ever been in a room like a stairwell or a tunnel and sang with friends or heard people sing, it's like this. And it like you said, that echo, that real echo, like pierces your soul more than if you're just singing out in the open. And the way that they have that here, and the way that their voices work together in harmony, with not just they're singing different notes because it's a harmony, but they're also singing with their own unique styles on top of it, almost like Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington.
Yes.
It's not quite that distinct as far as like the styles being that different, right? Like those are quite different. And we were talking about that just earlier today. But they're different enough that it gives it a much more real live feel as opposed to a studio feel. And I love studio music because it's perfect, right? You listen to it and you're like, wow, they worked out every kink. But the rawness and the feeling that you can get from a live show is hard to mimic for something like this. But the way that they were able to do that using the setup that they have, their unique voices, yet blending them together, this is the most real, this is the most like a live show that I've ever seen that I wasn't actually present for.
Well, and then there's the effect of the fact that the notes of this song have to work well enough with each other to be able to harmonize with the echoes. Because those notes are still ringing around.
Right.
It's not like those go away. In order for this to sound good at all, the notes of the song itself have to be able to harmonize with itself.
Yeah. The song actually, it reminds me of Linkin Park song that he had, he did it with someone else, but it was Heavy. It reminds me of Heavy a little bit, where you kind of have that more legato feel to the music, and then kind of blending in where you get a little bit more upbeat for the chorus. It's very similar to that. It reminds me of that. But I love how I can feel like I'm right there with them. Like I almost want to like start singing in there with them. Like it just feels like we should all be singing in this tunnel together.
Well, yeah, it does. I agree.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it does.
But then there's the fact that this look, we're looking at Chinchilla's face, where it's like almost shocked, like, oh, there's someone else here with me. They've been singing together, and they're still like expressing like this shock, like there's someone else here singing with me. I'm not just singing on my own. What's happening? Yeah. So I'm excited to see what's going on.
Yeah. If you guys don't mind, please subscribe. Now you get more of these.
But little by little, bit by bit, I push.
Okay, so she was like somber and pained, and he's like upbeat and having fun, and though they managed to make it work together.
Yeah, it's almost like she has almost a drag on her voice.
Yes.
Right? Like she's lengthening out her notes a little bit, and he's coming in just a little bit shorter notes. I wouldn't call it staccato, but I wouldn't call it as
it's not legato.
Legato as she is, right? Like she's really stretching hers out, and he's like hitting them a little harder, right? Almost like an andante, like a walking pace, right? And it just is. Can we play that again? The way they came together like that was just.
Back it up a few seconds,
that
guys.
was magical. That was magical.
In the gallows, I'm balanced on my toes so I can breathe. But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, erase ourselves. such a perfect day. Take it just in case. Take it just in case. I'm scared of being okay, 'cause all things change. All things change.
Okay.
This is so layered, man. Like
right
this is
before
so
the
good.
music changed, you could see that there was the whole bridge about taking the pill just in case, and then he changed his demeanor. You could almost feel, all right, I'm going to enter a different persona, and then the music changed to follow it. Oh, I love it. He's so good at these things.
Yeah.
So good at these things.
And I'm just blown away. I hadn't heard of Chinchilla before today. And I'm blown away by her. She's so good. She's so good. And the way they work together, like that is a match made in heaven. Like I've done duets with people, and like you can find somebody who like really works with you, or it's like, yeah, we can sing a song together. But like when you find somebody who can like do this kind of collaboration, I mean, man, that's so good. The way that just the contrast. What's so wild about it is there's so much contrast and similarity in the same place at the same time.
Yes.
It's so layered, right? Like the differences in speed, the differences in tone, the differences in pitch, like, but all matching. It's almost like they're fighting, but agreeing at the same time. It's so cool. Oh my goodness, this might be my new favorite Ren's song. I could picture myself listening to this song like in the car, because this is like the musical acumen here, the musical prowess here is just very on point. And the way that they're sliding between things, like when he comes down and he does that run where he works his way up all the way real high before the change, it's like, man, like we are feeling the whole spectrum of the mind and heart right here in this section, and it's awesome.
Such a perfect day. It's a beautiful shame. It's a beautiful shame. I'm scared of being okay, 'cause all things change. But little by little, bit by bit, I'll push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, oh my.
Erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
Holy smokes. That was one of the most impressive pieces of music I've ever put inside my ears and my eyes. That
Vocal
was
control at the high registers
that
is
is-
incredible.
that is so good. That was so beautiful. There's so much passion and energy and feeling, and just like with all of Ren's songs that he does that I've seen. I haven't seen more than 4, I think. 3 maybe.
I think we're at 4 yet.
4, right? He has these portrayals, these personas, right, where he shows what he's feeling, whether it's sick and in pain, or whether it's angry and like cruel and proud, or whatever it is. He shows these personas, and she's there like just on the level with him. And when their voices for that main chorus, they're together, right? There's a little bit of variation, but it kind of walks like this, right? And there's a little bit more stretch with hers. So you kind of get this 3D picture of it. But then when they do that break where she's up here and he kind of stays in that same range, and it's almost like a whistling. It's almost like, oh man, it's like if you had an oboe and a flute playing together. Like it's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. I loved that song so much.
I loved how she portrayed at the end. So part of the split that happened was not just the split musically. I think the split musically was really meant to emphasize this split. Was the split that happened for them where they're both essentially taking their crazy pill that they have to take. She takes hers, and she goes a little bit like kind of loses it a little bit. He takes his, and it pulls him back down into like, I'm sane again. And she takes it, and she's like, whoop, and just goes off.
Yeah.
And I love that split because it's so hard to control humans with pills.
Yes.
It's so hard, and they try so hard.
Or I'll challenge
go
this.
for it.
I would say it's hard to just heal humans with pills. You know, like
yeah.
like and control as well. I mean, like humans are hard to control with any method.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? And pills, like we say pills are this like I mean a million different kinds of pills, but we're talking about like antipsychotics, right? Like, and they can help a ton of people. And I would never tell somebody, hey, don't take your pills. It's
No.
What I would say is, let's make sure providers, we're being mindful and careful and prudent, right?
Yeah.
If you're a patient, like, yeah, your doctor probably knows a whole lot more about your condition and your pills than you do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That being said, like, ideally, pills aren't the end all be all. But
I just wish there was more hesitancy to get to them than there seems to be.
Well, and there are certain conditions where it's like, look, we don't know what to do besides this.
Yeah.
And this is probably your best chance for the best life that you can have. And of course, like we learned that Ren had the issues with the Lyme's disease and the misdiagnosis and the psychosis and all these different things. And so it's kind of a special thing for him where it's like, look, maybe if they would have found the right pills for me, you know, or the right therapeutic methods for me, it could have been a little bit different. But now he has this experience with these ups and downs on these psychotropic medicines.
Yeah.
But like that's just the underlying. I mean, the themes we could spend a half an hour talking about just the theme. I mean, maybe more than that. A few hours talking about just the theme of the music, but the music itself
was beautiful.
Was absolutely brilliantly performed, brilliantly written. It was like songbirds, man. It was just like songbirds. You know, you have like these two birds, they have nothing to do with each other. When you listen to them together, you're like, that works. But like this was like that, but on steroids, on I don't know, like on pills.
Hats off to you, Chinchilla, and hats off to you again, Ren, for this beautiful song.
Yeah, fantastic. That was really good. That was really, really good. I love this. Anyway, if you guys like these Ren reactions, check out our other Ren reactions. I think you're going to like those too. And subscribe if you haven't so we can catch you on the next one. Dude, I'm loving this, man. That's such an awesome song.